Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Late Monday night, Hugh Freeze, the Auburn Tigers, land a very exciting commitment in the 2025 class, coming from four-star linebacker Tyler Lockhart from the state of Mississippi, one of the top players in the state of Mississippi, top 150 player nationally, and a guy that when you turn on the film, and we're going to watch the film together, I would love to hear from you guys. Kind of reminds you of DeMarcus Riddick coming out of high school in the 2024 class, a extremely versatile front seven defender that can play that overhang linebacker spot, can play the off-ball linebacker spot, but he comes off the edge a lot and shows a ton of pass rush juice as well. I would love to hear from you guys. When I watch the film, I say if he puts on some weight with how he can run the edge, attack outside shoulders of offensive tackles, I could certainly see him playing that jack role for the Auburn Tigers. But again, you're getting at the very least a very dynamic off-ball linebacker that can go sideline to sideline, has really phenomenal closing speed, and he's a long linebacker. And you talk about what you want in the modern day of college football. You want linebackers that can operate in space, right? Go sideline to sideline, get their hands in passing windows. I think Tyler Lockhart is kind of that prototypical off-ball linebacker that we're looking for in this modern day of college football. Want to get into the film of Tyler Lockhart, talk about what he brings to this Auburn Tigers program before we get into it. And as always, just want to say thank you to you guys, the Auburn Tiger fans, whether we're talking the transfer portal, the high school recruiting trail. It's been a blast talking this program really ever since Hugh Freeze has taken over, and the amount of support y'all have shown the fellas truly does mean a lot. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into Tyler Lockhart. And I want to start with just the production he's had on Friday nights. And many of you guys who've been listening for a long time, you guys know that's something I really care about, right? It's really one thing to project the athletic profile. That certainly matters. But for me personally, I love to see the high school kids really get it done with the pads and helmet on Friday nights. And you look at Tyler Lockhart, he certainly has done that. 100 tackles, 28 tackles for a loss, 11 sacks. This is a guy that really just lives in opponents' backfields. And you talk about some of the really important stats on the defensive side of the football that correlate with damn good defenses, creating negative plays, forcing teams into those third and long situations. That's absolutely massive. And I think a guy like Tyler Lockhart can certainly, kind of bring that to this Auburn defense. You look at what he's going to project as, and we're going to turn on the film in just a second. I want to dig into this conversation and say, all right, I look at Tyler Lockhart and say, ideal frame and athleticism for that off-ball linebacker role. This is a guy that you go sideline to sideline. He has phenomenal closing speed, has that frame to deal with bigger tight ends, carrying them up the seam. Really, from an athletic profile standpoint, checks off all the boxes that you want to see from an off-ball linebacker. But when you see the reps of him coming off the edge, running that arc, attacking outside shoulders of offensive tackles, the juice he has coming off the line of scrimmage, it's going to be hard to keep this kid off the line of scrimmage and hard to keep him from rushing the passer, because I think he can be such a weapon in that department as well. Let's get into the film. I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. You see him do a lot of different things. I think that's what's most exciting. You talk about something that's so important to modern day college football defenses. You got to have guys that are versatile, that can do a lot of different things. You see that with Tyler Lockhart, the closing speed, when he decides to trigger downhill and go after the ball carrier, it is very, very explosive. But you see him come off the edge. You see him chase down plays from the backside. Like, you look at that juice running the edge, closing in on the quarterback. That, to me, it is really exciting to see him potentially play that role a little bit at the college football level. You see him play that overhang. This is really where he's most comfortable in terms of playing in space, going and making plays on the ball carrier. He's a long, rangy linebacker that can go sideline to sideline. He's physical at the point of attack as well, as you guys see. A lot of different ways you see him get involved. I think that's probably what's most exciting. Again, they love walking him up. This is, you talk about like the bend, you talk about what you're looking for in edge rushers, that jack linebacker spot. I mean, this is what you're looking for. And I think Tyler Lockhart puts it all over the film. I think this is a really exciting guy that brings you versatility, can do a lot of different things for this Auburn Tiger defense. And at the end of the day, we say this a lot. Yes, we want to see production on the football field. You also just want to see we sometimes as college football fans like to overcomplicate the game. Sometimes it's just a height, weight, speed game. You got to get guys that are big, fast, and fly around the football field. Tyler Lockhart is one of those guys, and although maybe it's a foggy projection in terms of what position he's going to play for the Auburn Tigers, in my mind, hey, get him in this Auburn Tigers program, get him coached up, because there's certainly going to be a way that he's impacting this Auburn Tigers defense. Again, I love him coming off the edge, running that corner, getting after the quarterback, but again, he's really, really good at operating in space, coming downhill, creating those negative plays, can impact this Auburn Tigers defense in a variety of different ways. And let's go to this 2025 class real quick. One, massive fan of what Auburn's doing in this linebacker room. You're going to have a very good front seven for the Auburn Tigers over the next couple of years. You think about some of the linebackers that they have coming in 2024, probably headlined by a guy like DeMarcus Riddick, but we saw some really good things from a guy like DJ Barber as well. You fast forward to the 2025 class, Malik Autry, Jordan Crawford, Jakaleb Falk probably playing more of that jack role, potentially that edge rusher role for the Auburn Tigers. And I say you have a front seven that is really becoming the strength of this Auburn Tigers team. And I think a lot of Auburn Tiger fans probably recognize, you look at what allowed Georgia to have so much success over the last couple of years. It's been a dominant front seven. When you have an elite defensive line and then you have elite linebackers behind that defensive line, you can really take over games with that front seven. They got a lot of versatility in that front seven as well. Guys that can do a lot of different things. We say this all the time. As much as everybody wants to talk about the offensive skill that Hugh Freeze has coming into this Auburn Tigers program, I look at what he's doing in the front seven on the defensive side of the football and say, I'm fired up about what this team can do in the SEC over the next couple of years. We've said it all the time. I think they take a massive step in 2024, start talking about 2025, 2026. I think those are the years that you see Auburn really make some moves in the SEC. Another massive commitment for Hugh Freeze, this Auburn Tigers program. We'll cut it at that. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.